Roundup on Radio Islam International.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And yes, it is the daily roundup on Radio Islam International. My name is Anisa Isak, and I'll be keeping you company until just around 7:30 this afternoon, inshallah. Now it's 14 minutes past 5 Central African time, and we are going to be joining the Sumud Flotilla, inshallah, from Barcelona to Tunis and now sailing towards Gaza. Abubakir Rafiq from Australia has chosen to put his life on the line for Palestine. As part of the global Sumud Freedom Flotilla, he's witnessed drone attacks, prepared for the worst, and carries the hopes of millions who can't make this journey themselves. And tonight he joins us live to share the risks and the resolve and the faith that's driving this mission. Brother Abubakir, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Radio Islam International, all the way in South Africa.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you for having me all the way from the Mediterranean Sea.
Well, yes, you are in the middle of the ocean, but not too far, I'm sure, from Gaza at the moment. So it's probably all anxious and excited all at the same time, a whole gamut of emotions.
Yes, 100%.
So many people show their solidarity with Palestine through protests and donations, going onto social media, but you chose to take a far riskier step of physically joining the flotilla. What was the turning point for you?
Well, there hasn't really been a turning point for me. I've grown up my whole life supporting the Palestinian cause. We know that for over 70 years, Palestine has been occupied in a brutal apartheid. And now for almost 2 years, a genocide has taken place. It's taken the lives of tens of thousands of people. And being an Australian citizen, my government is incredibly complicit in this genocide and has enabled this genocide on multiple fronts. So I will not allow them to act on my name. I wanted to do more for the Palestinian cause, and when this opportunity was granted, it was a no-brainer for me.
Now, you first landed in Spain before joining the flotilla. Walk us through what happened when you arrived in Barcelona and how the journey unfolded from there.
Yep, so I arrived to Barcelona late August. We had several days of training and preparation, including non-violent training. And then on the 31st, we set sail. I wasn't sure what to expect, but the first day was definitely rough at sea, quite strong winds, quite high waves. We made our way towards Tunis, where we had a stop. And this is when, unfortunately, 2 of the vessels were attacked by drones in Tunisian waters. Repairs had to be made, and this stop eventually became longer than expected, just to ensure that all boats meet the level of safety required. But once we were confident with the safety of the vessels, we continued from Tunis, and now about maybe a week later or so, a week and a half, so we are only a few days away from reaching Gaza.
You were in Tunis when the flotilla vessels came under drone attack, something that shocked many of us watching from afar. Can you describe for us what happened that night, and how did it affect you and your team's resolve to continue?
So the family vessel, which was one of the main vessels that's part of the flotilla, was attacked in Tunisian waters. A drone had flown over and dropped what appears to be like some sort of device that was giving off flames. The vessel had 6 people on board. Eventually, everyone was evacuated off the vessel. The fire was extinguished, and luckily, no one was injured. It was quite a tough and confronting moment for the people of the flotilla. We are aware that this was a possibility of being attacked, because the flotilla has been attacked in the past. But at the end of the day, we're a non-violent humanitarian mission with the goal of delivering aid to people facing a genocide. Since when was it acceptable for any nation, for that matter, to attack a non-violent humanitarian mission? This is a crime, and it should be condemned. But we continued with the mission of sailing towards Gaza because that's our end goal, is to break the siege.
Mm-hmm. Now, the mission isn't just about aid, it's about breaking the siege and opening a humanitarian corridor. What kind of aid are you carrying, and how do you respond to critics who say one flotilla, even with 50 vessels, can't make a real difference?
So we're carrying a wide range of aid, from basic food staples such as pasta, rice, oats, to medication, to baby formula. All of these forms of aid are not making their way into Gaza. We're seeing this happening. We are seeing children dying from malnutrition simply because Israel refuses any humanitarian aid from entering into Gaza. And to answer the question about this, whether this is enough aid for the people of Gaza, to simply put it, no, it's not enough aid. And we're aware of this. It doesn't, one flotilla is not going to feed 2 million people who are facing starvation. What our goal here is breaking breaking the siege on Gaza and announcing an opening of a humanitarian corridor, so we can go out and we can bring more food and more humanitarian aid to these people. Unfortunately, we have seen how deadly the Israeli humanitarian aid passages have been proven to be. People are being shot at while they wait for humanitarian aid. People are being crushed by airdrops. So, this humanitarian corridor is incredibly important to not only break the siege and allow Gaza to be, part of the world. It's been cut off for 18 years, but also to feed a population, to provide aid to a population that is facing a genocide.
Now, we've spoken to other members of the flotilla, and they've spoken to us about preparing for worst case scenarios, things like the drone attacks, interception, and even abductions at sea, which we've seen. Yet you've stressed that the normal outcome should be reaching Gaza, not being stopped. Can you explain that mindset and why you see the mission as a success, even if the boats don't make it?
Our goal here is to break the siege on Gaza. That is our main goal. And we will always put this as the main goal, to break the siege on Gaza. For me, personally, if we do not arrive to Gaza, I still believe our mission is successful, because we've brought attention to the genocide that's happening in Gaza, and we're putting governments into a position where they're forced to do something. Now we're seeing Spain and Italy send naval vessels to protect the flotilla. Unfortunately, something like this shouldn't have been left to ordinary civilians to break the siege. Where all of us are just ordinary civilians, we're a grassroots movement. This should have been left up to the government and our leaders send Navy vessels to break the siege decades ago. So we will continue with our mission. And if we do not break the siege, we will sail again. And we'll continue to do so until we break the siege, until we bring an end to this brutal genocide happening in Gaza, and ultimately until every square inch of Palestine is free.
Inshallah. Now, you've said one of your greatest fears is standing before Allah on the day of judgment, having done nothing. How does that sense of accountability shape your choices today?
It shapes everything that I do. At the end of the day, I'm a human being with a heart, with a conscience. Anyone with an ounce of humanity, let's just put religion to the side for a second. anyone with an ounce of humanity will do anything in their power to protect human life, because we know human life is incredibly sacred. But as a Muslim, it's far more than that. For me, I will have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with my deeds, and I will have to tell him what I did for the people of Palestine, what I did for my ummah. Unfortunately, we have seen from our Muslim leaders and our Muslim governments nothing but betrayal. They have turned their backs to the Palestinians while their hands are covered in the blood of them. It's unacceptable. And it's easy for us as ordinary civilians to push the blame onto our leaders, and rightfully so. We should hold them accountable. But at the end of the day, we will be standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as independent, as people on our own. So the question is, what have you done for the people of Palestine? What have you done for your ummah? Have you done enough? Have you truly done enough for you to protect yourself from the du'as of the Palestinians? For most people, including myself, the answer is no, we haven't done enough.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, when you reach Gaza, what do you hope your first words or action will communicate to the people waiting for you? And what message do you want carried back to those following your journey from afar?
My first words to the people of Gaza is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the world has turned their back against you. I'm sorry that the world has watched you be slaughtered and massacred and have done nothing to stop the bloodshed. I'm sorry that humanity has lost all its dignity. But there is still hope. There is still people out there with a heart, and our hearts are pumping, and we will not stop. We will not slow down. We'll do everything that we can do in our power to liberate Palestine, to bring an end to their suffering, and to bring an end to this genocide.
Inshallah. Brother Abubakir Rafiq, Sumud Flotilla participant from Australia, shukran for sharing your journey and your courage with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you and your companions safe on the seas and grant success to the mission. And we'll be following closely and keeping you all in our dua. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And that was Brother Abubakir Rafiq, one of